Welcome to the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast, your home for all things football at Waldorf University, the best small college football experience in America. Hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson, from the secret bunker beneath Bullsdorf Field.
All right, welcome to this episode of the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast. So, folks, yeah, I know, I'm breaking it up, Troy.
No, you're great.
Really? You know, that means a lot coming from somebody with a talent and the voice like you got.
You got the voice.
No, you're the voice.
Yeah.
So, welcome, everybody. Hopefully, we're having warm weather. We're recording this in early April, so we're going along with our theme of introducing you to new folks. So, you've heard his name on the podcast, especially with Coach Chapa and Coach Brummer. But we decided to bring in somebody that's familiar to a lot of our Waldorf faithful, and that is our newest coach here at Waldorf University, our linebackers coach, Coach Tom Clarey.
Hey, Coach.
Coach.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome to the bunker.
Yeah.
It's
a great
the
place.
bunker. Yeah, isn't it beautiful? Yeah, it's nice and safe. Temperature's always 56 degrees. Got to wear a jacket, but it's nice.
Yes.
So-
or a vest.
So now, as we talked about right before we went on the air, is now I'm just gonna. I got some. This is either gonna be a really short podcast, or we're gonna get into this because now I have no proof whatsoever.
That's a good place to start.
Yep. So, Coach here hails from MOC Floyd Valley, which is in Orange City, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
He went to school at Northwestern College, which is in the GPAC.
Yes.
Now, my guess is they have some sort of voodoo or magic over there and said, all right, Waldorf's going to be joining the GPAC in 2024. So like 10 years earlier, because of the time machine thing, they got him out of high school and said, you're going to come here and you're going to get a degree to be a teacher. You're going to get a job in Forest City, and then just kind of roundabout sort of way, you're going to start working for Waldorf University, and you're going to be feeding us intelligence.
The Manchurian candidate.
Manchurian, yeah, something like
MOC.
that. Oh, MOC, Manchurian candidate. So, Coach, how much of that is true?
Absolutely zero. I would
That's
like to say that you caught me, but
Yeah.
as
You
you said,
didn't.
no proof.
You
There's no
didn't
proof.
go to MOC Floyd Valley or Northwestern College.
Well, that is true.
Oh, well, geez, who's lying now?
Well, you caught me.
Yeah. See, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't know if that's what was going on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you
I
wouldn't-
don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but
Yeah.
just throwing that out there.
Just walk into a class, you're the only one there, and there's this guy who was like, hey, sit down. And then you don't ever remember what you studied, but you never had to take a test, so it all worked out.
It all adds up now. It's making sense.
Well, because I mean, let's be honest. Orange City, Northwestern College. I mean, quality institution. But their values, their athletics, their academics, and stuff like that. I if anybody around here is going to have a time machine,
They probably have
no?
them.
Okay.
Yeah, time machine. It's at Costco. Duh.
Yeah. All right, Coach. You've been with the. I guess we'll set that aside. So you've
That
been.
was a great theory, though. We'll come back to it. I'm sure it'll come up at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
Start wondering.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if Northwestern comes to town and beats us,
Well, what are the chances?
that's his fault. That's true. So you've been with the team how long now?
Ooh, a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3-4 weeks.
And how's that going? I heard Coach Chapa said you got a little itchy and had to jump right in.
I did. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, my job gets really easy when the kids are great and the coaching staff are great to work with. So 5 a.m. practices, it's hard rolling out of bed, but when you get there, everybody's got a smile on their face ready to play football, and that's what makes it great. So it's kind of jumping in, all in, diving in.
Yeah.
So it's been a blast. I'm excited to be there. I wish it could be a normal circumstance,
Sure.
and I could be in the offices every day rolling with all that, but
Well,
we're piecing it together.
You
So.
got that contract thing
Yeah,
that's
that contract thing.
looming.
Yeah, coming over from right across the road, just a couple of blocks away at the high school,
Bet.
having been, a coach with Forest City. For how many years were you with the program? And then last year you were head coach.
Yep. So 8 years total.
Okay. Yeah. So, and that was, it was a great experience. And I know you were on defense the entire time, so you haven't, it's not like you've been just, treading water for the last several years. You've been in the midst of it. And I got to assume, too, that we talked about this a little bit with Chapa. Just you know everybody. I mean, or maybe you don't, but I assume that you know a lot of the other coaches, the high school coaches in the area and maybe across the state. And then having that experience is going to certainly help, I think, when you do get into the recruiting part of the business, which is, with college, that's about 3/4 of it.
Yeah, pretty significant part.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I know a fair amount of the coaches, and the ones that I don't know, I hope that having the relationship I can make with them of being a head coach, being a coach at the high school level in the state, can help build some of that relationship. That's a lot of what it is coming from the high school level. We as coaches, we want to make relationships with our players, but also when other people come and ask about our kids, we want to build a relationship with that. So we're not just sending them off to God knows where. So I think that piece will be able to help me a little bit recruit the state of Iowa, which, I mean, you all have kids that have been Iowa athletes, and it's super important when you want to be successful, especially in the GPAC, and colleges located in Iowa recruit local. So hopefully can bring a big piece of that once you get rolling next summer. Summer.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're hopeful for, too. I know that's a goal for the program, the college, the university. Everybody wants to bring more students in. I mean, it's a very competitive process, just college in general. They're all competing against each other for students, but to be able to bring in those students from the closer region than some of the – nothing against the folks that come in from across the country. We definitely love those transfers that can come in and make an impact immediately. Absolutely. And have got that experience under their belt. There is a – developmental stage, I think, between a freshman and a junior player in college football, probably across all of the sports. Although I did notice that watching the NCAA tournament, you've got freshmen that are out there, true freshmen that are shooting 3-pointers in the Elite Eight, and it's like, can you imagine that's your kid out there at 18, 19 years old doing that?
Phenomenal athletes.
And that does happen in football to some degree, but it's fairly rare.
Yeah.
I remember dropping my oldest son Tate off at the first day of football in college, and he's, to me, I thought he was a pretty good athlete. He is a good athlete. Was a good athlete. Still is. But you walk around the corner after checking him in, and these dudes are enormous, and they got like hair on their shoulders, and it's just like these are men, and to turn and over the course of the time, it's amazing the development that they have even in that first couple of years.
Absolutely,
so it takes a little bit to get them there, but getting those true freshmen from around Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, that helps and helps bring the fan base in as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, nothing against the kids that we pull from other states. They're great. They're great athletes. They provide a lot of diversity to our community, but also our football team. But to play football in the state of Iowa takes a little bit something different that people from Texas don't quite understand. That white stuff starts flying towards the end of the season.
Yep.
We've had multiple practices already this spring where it's flying. So it just is good when kids come in and they can know what to expect from a football season, weather-wise, community-wise, culture-wise. It just helps. So, yeah, looking forward to be able to jump into that.
Yeah, you go to, like in August, you can start out your camp at the beginning of August, and you can have 100-degree plus days. You're dealing with all of that, the water and so forth. And then you can be literally a month or so, not even, you could be in mid-September and you're all of a sudden in the 40s for some reason. And then it gets colder after that.
That's when the fishing gets good.
That's correct.
Yeah. So how's that transition been with you? You have a big group of really, really talented athletes. It kind of seemed like those guys, the linebackers I talked to, were pretty excited just the short amount of time they spent. But how's the reception been with some of these kids and this new guy walking into the program?
Yeah, I mean, so far I think it's been great. I don't think an athlete trying to vie for a starting position is gonna talk ill of me when I'm around, but the vibe I get from them is they're all receptive to me and the coaching that I'm providing. As I said earlier, I'm only there when we're actually practicing football, so it's a little different, I guess.
You bet.
But we've been able to connect really well, just through whether it's quick text messages or short meetings before practice or whatever. So, like I said to start, it's been a great experience. The guys have all welcomed me. They're receptive to the teaching that I'm trying to give them. That was a big fear of mine coming in, like, oh, who's this high school coach? He doesn't know he doesn't know how to coach at the college level. You get some of that. You get some of the attitude.
Of course.
So I haven't had any of that so far, and that's just kind of a testament to Coach Chappa's program and the things that they're doing over at Waldorf.
Yeah.
So it's been easy so far.
I do want to jump back to the Northwestern thing, not the time machine part, but who was the defensive coordinator when you were there?
So Coach McCarty, the current head coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So Kyle Achterhoff was my head coach when I was there, and Coach McCarty was the defensive coordinator.
And you were an offensive lineman.
Correct.
Yeah, coming out of MOC.
Yep.
Yeah. What does MOC
Yeah, what's the M? I see OC is probably Orange City, right?
I would imagine.
Morris, Orange City, Floyd Valley.
Okay.
Then Floyd Valley's a culmination of a couple different towns.
Sure. Okay.
So
I don't know why I always thought that was, I mean, I knew northwestern Iowa, but I don't know. I was thinking closer to the river.
Yeah, it's not.
Is it on a river?
nope.
Well, I guess I was
It's just
wrong.
out there.
Just there.
And
Yeah.
all the voodoo they got over there with the time machine.
You get a lot of traffic with that, though. With people like, "Where'd you go to school?" I went to Northwestern. People are like, "Oh, okay, fancy pants over here." I had no idea, because there's more than one Northwestern.
Right. Yeah. I was, in my early years down at the elementary school where I started my teaching, I was able to fool a lot of kids with that one. I went to Northwestern. Oh, the team that's playing Iowa on
Yeah.
Saturday?
Well, I
That's
mean,
what you think. Yeah,
similarly,
absolutely. I mean,
spelled.
close, kind of. Yeah,
It's all the same, kids. What do you think?
College, university.
That's right.
it all means the same.
That's right.
Same thing.
Well, and that, I mean, there's been a connection between Forest City and, Northwestern for years. There's been a lot, like I had classmates, which was a million years ago, but I had classmates go over to Northwestern, and there's always been Forest City kids that migrate over into the Northwestern, the Dort, Morningside, Briarcliff. So there's always that connection. So it's interesting to have a coach that you're probably the most local coach that we've had on staff in quite a long time. Other than right now we got Cade Kloster-Hodak as a GA, but that's going to have to be pretty nice for your family, especially playing on Saturdays. You're going to they don't have to travel super far to come see you.
Yeah. A lot different than the travel Waldorf had the last couple of years.
Wow.
Are you looking forward to the getting into, like you said, you'd rather be in it, as much as you can right now, but having that office and just you want to coach football. I mean, clearly that's the whole decision making process behind how you got to where you're at now. Yep. And so you are stepping aside from public education and moving over to the coaching in college, university level. And that means that you're going to be just focused on football and the business of football. So you're not doing 7 classes a day and things like that. So is that a little bit of a relief, and is part of that going to be, missed a little bit, or how do you, what do you think?
Yeah, for sure. First off, I have nothing but great things to say about Forest City Community Schools. My experience there for the last 8 years has been awesome. It's just, as you said, coaching college football and just being a football coach is something I've wanted to do since I was a little kid. And coming out of college, I had the opportunity, but life hits, as we all know, and you got to go find a job that actually makes money. So, so this is just a great opportunity for my family. We don't have to move. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to relocate. We're just right in the backyard of Waldorf football already. So it was just kind of a natural transition over there. And I love teaching. I love being around kids. And that's the hardest part of this whole transition, is having to sit down with those Forest City high school kids and, talk to them about this whole thing, and seeing them every day since then, and watching them on Fridays next year as much as I can. That's the hard part, because it was such a great experience.
Right.
But, going and coaching college football and being fully invested in that. And like you said, it's more than just coaching football. There's a lot of the business things, pulling in students. How do you talk to kids? How do you get people to trust us to send their kids to us? So there's a whole lot of other things other than coaching football that goes into it that I've just always been fascinated with. And, I'm really looking forward to being able to get into. So just got to kind of work through these next 2 months as we finish out the school year, and just kind of rock and roll, hit the ground running once we get there.
Well, it'll be nice to be able to go to Fridays, when we have home games, the Warriors would show up, and that's always awesome for the kids. They like to
great
see
support.
Like to see the other team in town take a look at the high school team on Fridays. For sure. And it's probably also different problems. Like I think you were the PE teacher in elementary, and then you also high school most recently. So you've really covered the gamut.
Yep.
And so you're like, well, I'll be not dealing with maybe those issues, but now you've got university level, and that type of thing. So there'll be new challenges in that regard for sure. But I think it's something that it'll be fun to see the community, as they continue to support not just the high school, but they come out well for Waldorf University too.
Yeah, I mean the community support has been awesome. Like I said, the tailgating area is literally in my backyard, so that made it easy for me. But you see everyone there, all the support that we get. You can't speak highly enough of this community and all the things that they buy into and the things that they enjoy. And over the last couple of years, it's been very evident that Waldorf football is one of those things, as well as Forest City football. So,
well, you did. I'll give you a compliment in that you created quite a culture at the high school level. You had as the head coach last year, it was just a very a little bit of a cultural shift. It seemed like the team you did a lot of team activities. You moved the practices around a little bit. They weren't 5 a.m. in the morning, but you would do early in the fall so that you could get out of the hot weather.
Yep.
You take some days off so that they could do some additional things. I can't remember what that was for, but I remember that it was built in for some reason, like that you were doing, for a good reason. Yep. And then you would, take the kids down and they would do, elementary stuff and just all of the cool stuff. And then of course we had the team meals, and they just created a really good, healthy culture for the program, and had some success too, which is always important for those kids and for any program. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that you taking the role at Waldorf, obviously it's going to be limited because, you still have your obligations with the school district, and, everybody understands that. But then as that ends and you roll into summer and start preparing for the fall, I think being around the offices, things there's a different feel this year, especially that we're full staffed, everybody's committed to this fall, and I'm sure Coach Chop told you, because I know that prior to Coach Nally leaving for OPSU, he and I were having conversations, and there was no openings, and he's like, "What do you know about Coach Clarey?" I said, "High school football coach." I said, "I don't really know him very well. The fact that I don't hear anything bad about somebody is usually pretty good."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I've been having conversations with him. And of course that's closed door. Mm-hmm. He can't say anything to anybody." Mm-hmm. Obviously I'm not going to say anything to anybody, but then after Coach Nally's departure, I just kind of had this feeling, and I marched into his office one day, and he's like, "All right, I don't know if I've told you about this, Coach Clarey, but he already told me." But he was so excited. You were on his radar way before there was any spot for you. So that talks a lot about, Coach Chapa's just his respect for you, and just the excitement that he has to have the defensive staff that we have right now. There's going to be a lot of really great things that go on at our university.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
I know that just professionally, you when you were coaching with the high school, you'd be, even before you were the head coach, Chapa was also in the defense and defensive coordinator, and you guys would be talking shop and things like that, which is great to have that communication. And so it probably just built on that relationship, it sounds like, and so we're looking forward to it. What's the number one thing that you look at our linebackers, and we have some good things going there, but what's the number one thing that you can say that we need to improve on right away?
Yeah, I mean, in spring ball, there's a lot that you have to improve on. That's kind of the whole point of spring ball: identify your problems, and then find ways that you can fix them over the summer, moving into the fall. But I can't speak highly enough of those guys. They're eager to learn. Mm-hmm. They love the game of football. We've thrown a lot at them already this fall, so that's probably the biggest thing right now. It's not a physical thing or a talent thing. It's just learning, being a student of the game, and just making sure that, at a linebacker level especially, but our whole defense, we talk, you're building from the ground up. So you have to be correct with your alignments before you can be correct with your technique, before you can finish on the football. So just making sure that you're a student of the game, you know what your assignment is, how you need to align, and all that stuff. So, like I said, we have a great group of kids. They're doing everything right so far, but just continuing to digest all that information, take it all in, and hopefully retain it over the summer as we say goodbye to them here in a couple of weeks. But
yeah, how do you teach? I mean, the reading is reading what the offense is doing is probably, I guess the linebackers are the key points on that. Maybe a safety's in the back and you get a better picture, but for the most part, how do you teach somebody, like how to read the myriad offenses and schemes that are out there?
For sure. So, I mean, like I said, it all starts with your alignment and where your eyes are. So, big on reading what your keys are, and first and foremost, telling a kid what their keys are, whether it's a certain formation that the offense has that gives you certain clues pre-snap. I always like to say that the offense has the advantage pre-snap, but once the ball's snapped, we have the easiest job in the world. Go track it down and tackle it. So, we're on the reactive side of things, but once the ball's snapped, that pendulum swings in our favor, I think, as long as you're doing things correct. So teaching kids, based on offensive formations, and we look at the box more often as a linebacker. What are they giving us? Do they have a wing? Where's the wing at? What's the running back doing? What's his footwork? All that type of stuff. So just being big on that, big on the fundamentals. Where are your eyes at? Where's your body at? How are you positioned? And it all just leads to success once you have to go react and chase down the football.
And a lot of chatter probably helps too. They got to talk to each other.
Absolutely, yeah,
all across the board. Yeah,
and you have a large group, because you have your inside and outside guys right now, and I think you have 2 of the 10 spring ball captains on your squad. Yeah, so that's huge. It talks a lot about the talent and character of some of the young men that you have there. Is there, at this point in spring ball, is Cream kind of rising to the top? Do you see some of that talent, or is it kind of still up in the air?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. People start to separate themselves. And again, that's part of the reason you have spring ball. And unfortunately I wasn't able to be there in the fall with them every day, watching a game on Saturday compared to being with these kids day in, day out.
Right.
It's completely different. But Coach Chapa was obviously there, and he saw what kids were able to do in the fall and see that growth now. But also, that's something that we talk about a lot with our kids is first day of spring, we need to start seeing growth, right now.
You bet.
As we go into summer, we're going to go back and rewatch all the tape from our practices and really start pinpointing things that we see. What do we like? What do we not like? Who started at the ground and finished up at the ceiling?
You bet.
Who didn't quite get there. So you're starting to see some of that for sure. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we just want to see improvement and growth.
Yeah.
As long as you're moving up in the right direction, we can continue to work with that. And I think a lot of guys understand where they're at in the process. They might be a year away from really being a significant contributor.
But
and
you're going to have that. I mean, the first time in your coaching experience, transitioning from high school ball, where the kids that you are going to see in the fall were, where they are in the summer. And so if they're hitting the weight room and stuff like that, now we're sending these kids all over the nation. And it's kind of one of those, all right, so you're not only going to see the improvement from the start of spring ball to the end, but you're also going to see when they come back for fall camp, who hit the weight room, who didn't just sit around and eat Doritos. Some of those guys, we want them to eat Doritos. But for the most part, you'll see who put in the work, who's serious about their commitment. Yeah.
And that's a huge thing at our level of football. The big schools, Iowa State, being here in Iowa, those guys are with their coaches. More so the strength guys, but they're there all summer. They're together doing their thing. Like you said, we're shipping guys all over the country. No, not many guys, at least in past years, have stuck around the area.
Correct.
So at our level, especially, there's a big emphasis on these kids that they're in charge of their own improvement over the summer. And you get back in fall, whether it's high school level or college level, it's really easy to see who took the time off and who put the work in. So
who pukes after running 40 yards.
Correct.
Yeah. There is probably, you can tell the speed of the game is vastly different from, with the players you're dealing with in high school who are learning the game as well, but they're just at a different level. And then you take that step up to the university level, and it's a completely different game. Sure. It's like everybody's faster. They've got more experience. They're bigger. They're stronger. They're there for that.
Right. That's the biggest thing I've noticed so far. I mean, again, not saying anything ill will about Forest City, but you get a ton of kids that come out for high school football that frankly don't care about football. Like they're not there to play football. They're there to stay in shape for something else, or they're there to hang out with buddies, or like, I love Coach Clarey, like we're going to do this with him. At the college level, like all those dudes are, like you said, they're there for football.
Right. Yeah.
Football is the reason they're getting an education here. So that's a huge, I don't know the right word to say, but that's awesome to work with those kids, because you really can dig deeper into the knowledge piece of the game, because they actually care about football. Not that other kids at high school level don't, but every single one you work with.
Well, for sure. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Changes the landscape of,
if you've got 60 players on your roster in high school, and that includes a lot of sophomores, in 2A ball. So if you've got, maybe 30, of those 30, there's probably at best maybe 15 that are like, this is my favorite sport.
Right.
And the good thing about that, we've always loved it in that, with 2A sports in our neck of the woods, is that, your kids can be in all 4 sports, or sometimes 5 if they want to be. They can be in all the other activities, which is great. I think that's great for the development of the kid. But, somebody's, if they're like, my favorite sport is baseball, and I'm playing football because I want to be with my friends, is maybe a little bit different than.
Absolutely. And it makes it's just, it changes what your mindset is and how you teach and coach a kid as well. I mean, what you can teach a kid that is fully invested in football is way different than somebody that's just there to be there.
Right.
So it just changed. Everything is different.
Your level of reinforcing things is very different.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like you can say, this is what you're here for.
Yeah.
And you say that to, a kid in high school, like, this is what you're here for. And they're like, no, I'm here for basketball.
Yeah, no, it's not. I don't know what you're talking about.
So is that the most significant difference that you've seen between the two levels, between high school and college, or is there anything else that stands out?
Thus far, I'd say that's probably the biggest thing. Obviously, the speed of the game, the size of the athlete, that's completely different. But I would say, just working with kids with how much we've tried to throw at them already this spring, just to see how much they can all handle. But, that's the biggest thing, is these kids go home and they actually study what you're doing. So they have to. Like money's on the line.
Right.
In a way.
Every day is a test.
So,
Every day is a test.
That's for sure been one of the biggest things.
Okay, good.
I always thought, like, college athletes having, a few in the family or whatever, they would just be, it's like 700-800 hours plus a year that you're working for that team. So, for all of the different things that you have to do, and plus you are a full-time student, and the reason that you're there is to get that degree. So there's not a lot of time for all of the other things that Andy and I might have participated in a little bit in college.
The shenanigans. We like to call it the shenanigans.
Right, and still are.
Yeah.
Those
never grew up.
Opportunities never end.
Never grew up. That's why we
know our
the Gridiron
role.
Club.
That's right. We know
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you need your chin strap tightened? I can do that. But,
well, I can tell you that it's being the announcer for both the Forest City High School football games and then also for Waldorf. It's great to be in both press boxes. The high school's got a little bit better press box, in my opinion, than Waldorf, but it's way more fun on Saturdays for me as an announcer than it is on Friday nights, just because, because of the different, there's also the level, the difference in education value of that sport. So what you're trying to accomplish in high school athletics is, you're teaching the game. It's part of the overall extracurricular learning that is happening while you're in high school, and teaching those values that come with good sportsmanship and everything like that. And in college, you don't have to do that.
well,
there's some sportsmanship, obviously, and we like that. We do. But it's also the best part of college is that you can be,
well, and just
way more excited and
all
enthusiastic.
All of it's different. I mean, You and I talked this fall. You have a playlist ready for Saturday game day that you can play music during the game. You know, at the high school level, there's rules that stipulate you can't do that stuff. So
Right.
Well, it was
environments day.
It was interesting. Your first practice, I was out there, and Aiden Williams and I were talking, and I said, "So, first impressions, Coach Clarey." He's like, he knows what he's talking about, but I can sure tell he coached high school kids. You know, and again, that's not a knock, but it's one of those things. That's what you've been used to for more than 8 years, and but there's such a vast difference between. And I'm not around high school athletes. I don't think I could. I need to watch myself, but yeah, just hanging around those college kids, man. I'll tell you what. There's some things you hear that, like I'll walk out of my little room like, are you got what? Like, you guys stop talking that way.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. You're hoping that that's not the conversation that you're hearing in high school. It'd be nice if they were a little calmer in the same regard at college, you know. But
Oh gosh,
let's not be crazy. We know what they're going to come up with at that age. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you know, as much as they're adults, they're still kids. You know, they're in that in between phase of reliance on family, most of them, to now it's like I'm trying to get an education. So, you know, and football is the vessel for me to get that education. Right. And then we're going to step into the real world, and that can all be scary. And then you're bringing people from all over the country, even the globe, you know, Poland, you know, and we need to have Patrick here sometime to have a conversation with us, because he's a quality individual, but he's one of your linebackers as well.
No, he's a D lineman now.
Oh, that's right. They moved him up to D-line. Yep. You bet. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's the Doritos. I don't know. And I love Patrick to death, but he got a haircut, and I didn't recognize him when I saw him this
oh, yeah?
this winter. Yeah. Feel pretty bad. Love the guy. So, yeah, from all over the world. You know, so you throw these kids together, and you have this little melting pot, and everybody's trying to form a family, and they do it very, very quickly. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, speaking of family, tell the Gridiron listeners who are not as familiar with you as maybe the local folks here from the high school about your family and what you've got going on there.
Yeah, so married to my wife, Angel. She's also in the education world. We have 3 kids. Rhett is in 3rd grade. Porter is a 1st grader. I had to think there for a second.
That's right.
And then my daughter, Blakely, is a kindergartner. So busy household for sure. But,
wow.
We try to stay on top of it as best we can.
How long have you and Angel been married?
Throwing me under the bus a little bit, man. I got to do some math.
I didn't prepare for
that one.
Well, okay, while you do the math, this is airing on the 12th. So I can tell you on the 16th of April, I will have been married to my lovely bride for 30 years.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. Well, congratulations to me, not necessarily to her. And it is huge. And the fact that she has not murdered me and hid my body, she watches all those crime documentaries. Troy and I talked about this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's just, absolutely. She
got
is.
A little notepad like I do. It's like,
yeah, she may. But anyway, I'm blessed to have her in my life for that long, and happy anniversary, baby. I love you. But I'm really just trying to kill time so Coach Clarey can come up with. I've been married for 11 years.
The number is.
Yeah. So it'll be 11 years in May.
Oh, you just said
nailed
that
it
because he said that.
Nailed it.
11 years in May.
I didn't know that either.
That's great.
All right. Well, good for you guys. Congratulations on getting more than 10 and having 3 wonderful kids. And that's
a significant milestone in today's world.
Oh, for sure.
It is. It is. Some people like to get married. I wanted to be married.
Right.
That's just one of those deals. So, but yeah, that's great. Family back in the Orange City area.
Yep. So we're both from that area. Both of our families are back over in Orange City-ish area. So
was she an MOC girl?
She was. Yep.
So did you guys? Were you high school sweethearts?
We are.
All right. Really? So tell me about how this all happened. This romance. Was it one of those things where you guys had 7 minutes in heaven back in 9th grade during a makeout party?
So this is my time to tell the story. I think she chased me around for numerous years.
I am
kept
sure
batting her away,
playing
the field, doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and finally just gave in. I was tired.
Yeah, she wore you out.
Fine.
She played the long game like Mao.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor on
Honey, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
No, she'll be listening. But I want you to do me a favor. I want the two of you to listen to this podcast, and I want you to have your phone out when you hear the cue of that story. And as soon as she looks at you, just take a picture and text me, because I want to see that
I can
look.
do that.
'Cause I could only imagine the look that my wife would give, like, I chased you. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
She knows.
Oh, absolutely.
She knows.
That's right.
Yeah. So what do you guys like to do as a family, other than just kind of probably go to a lot of activities and stuff like that, especially both being in education? That keeps you busy enough the way it is. But do you guys have favorite spots to go, vacation or anything like that? Or what do you do?
Yeah. So like you said, we stay pretty busy between bouncing from Waldorf and Forest City activities, being sandwiched between 2 football fields where our house is. You know, we spend a lot of time out there, just multiple sports with the kids, teaching them how to do all that stuff. But once a year we get away. Angel has family up northern Minnesota. They have a spot up there on a lake. So
Nice.
try to get away for a week and fish and do the whole thing. So
Do you have a fishing boat?
I don't. My father-in-law does, though. Gets over to Clarey Lake every now and then.
Well, Andy's got a fishing boat.
I do.
You're the guy.
Bigger than Troy's.
Yeah.
Bigger than Troy.
Troy's got a fishing boat.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a Boston whaler.
I got a whaler.
He's got a whaler. I've got an Alumacraft. Don't you know?
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, I can speak Minnesotan.
You can run that right into a rock. If you want to. They'll just dent it.
Well, and see, I fish Iowa lakes. I don't go up to Minnesota. After someday after I retire, I'm probably gonna hit a lot of Wisconsin, a lot of South Dakota, North Dakota. I'm not going back to Canada. I'm not gonna do that. But so have you ever?
Like there's a story there.
Yeah.
Well, no, it just has something to do with high-speed pursuit across the border. But we can't talk about that.
Talk about it.
Yeah,
I've been kicked out of Canada. I feel like we have talked about that.
you've been kicked out of Canada.
Oh, yeah. The whole country. Yeah.
Your
Hold
pic
the
was posted
phone.
in
Yeah.
Adventure.
I've not heard this one.
Oh, I thought we did. Must have been another podcast. Well, I was in the Army, and my roommate, who was a diver, was a guy who had a question authority bumper sticker on the front of his Suzuki Samurai, and he didn't have a key for it because he was one of those guys who liked to, make his own little button start. And we frequently, from Fort Drum, New York, would go up to Canada because we were just 30 minutes away from the border, and we'd go up there for any number of reasons. And we had never declared anything. Why would you? Because you just like, nothing to declare. Yep. And then we would just roll into Canada and go up to Kingston or whatever. And then on New Year's, one particular New Year's, we went to the same process, and we had his buddy from Florida had come up to visit him, and he has his question authority Suzuki Samurai and with no keys in it. And we had gotten, we had a lot of stuff that we should have declared, beers and cigarettes and just a variety of things that you do in the Army. And
Survival pack.
yeah. And nothing illegal, but we were just, up there, and you get to the other side, you go through, you get to the Canadian side, and they're like, do you have anything to declare? A. and we're like, nope, nothing here. And they're like, okay, well, why don't you pull over there and we're going to check it out. And we're like, oh, okay, well, we now suddenly do have a lot of things that we wish we had declared. So we got to get out of this thing. There's no back seat. So his buddy's just like sitting on a bunch of clothes and,
Just cigarettes
and, cases of beer. And needless to say, they pulled all of that out. And then my buddy's a diver. So he's got this like 10-inch diving knife that's in there. So it's like, now we've got weapons. And there's like, you're going to have to give me the keys. And he's like, I ain't got no keys because it's just a push button. And so we have to go in and declare everything. They split us up, and not like to interrogate us, but just, to get the information through a little bit faster. It was a busy night for Canada, and they had to go through, and I had bought some sparkling wine, for New Year's, champagne, right? Yeah. And so we're going through that, and those guys they bought the beer and the cigarettes. They have to pay all these crazy penalties and fees or whatever. And all I had bought was that sparkling wine. And the guy's like, champagne. And he's like, it's like $40. And I'm like, sir, I think, because this is where liberal arts degree comes in handy. I'm like, I think that's champagne's specific to a French region. This is California sparkling wine. And he's like, what? And he looks at the bottle, and he like, back in the day that he's like arrowing down in his Canadian computer, and he gets down to sparkling wine, and it was like $6. And I was like, okay, see, that was good. There you go.
Save yourself some cash.
They said, okay, you can take your stuff, and you have to go back to America, and you can't come back tonight. So it kicked out of Canada for a night. Then in a weird way, they were just like, and don't and don't try to come back around through Toronto. And we're like, we're not driving 4 hours to get back into your country, man. We're going to go back to Watertown, New York, and spend
it's
the
still
night.
Canada, right?
like we're not trying to break into Canada. We were just look, we thought you could use the money,
Cheap beer and cigarettes. We're just here for that stuff.
Yeah.
So, Coach, have you ever been to Canada?
I have not.
Oh, okay. So
Sounds like
I've been
Declare
to,
it. Declare
like a
it.
good time.
I've been to Canada many times, and I've never been kicked out, and I've never been searched because we've always, when we went across, it was always, don't mess with these people. You're coming into a foreign country, and I'm not saying you were messing with them, Troy, but
We were not messing with them.
No.
We were just lying.
well,
We had lied so many times,
It's normal at that point.
well, it
yeah.
almost created an international incident right there in United States Army soldiers. I
Oh, I
wasn't that what
almost
Stripes was about?
that'd be it was.
Yeah.
I almost did that with North Korea.
Oh my.
We don't have time. That'll be
Yeah,
another
That's
one.
another story.
Yeah, no,
Maybe
we'll
another
we'll
time.
talk about North Korea at another time. So, we
Completely different situation.
wow, World War III almost.
That was a
So,
youthful
Coach,
time.
I mentioned Stripes. Are you a movie guy, TV guy?
I love movies.
What's your go-to?
I see the Chris Farley there on the TV. On
Yep.
on the wall
Yeah.
there. So I'm a big Tommy Boy guy.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
my
yeah?
favorite movie.
It's
It's my favorite go-to.
It's a
never
great-
let me down movie.
It's
Always
easy.
was. Yeah.
always know what to expect.
Yeah.
You got it. Like it's gonna pick you up.
Yeah, I've kind of migrated over to Will Ferrell and Talladega Nights.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
That's and the more you watch it, the more you pick up little things.
Yeah.
It's just
Step Brothers is all of his movies are most of his movies are very, very funny. Yeah.
yeah. The other guys.
Yeah. Other guys. Oh yeah, we watched that actually
Yep.
quite a bit.
I'm sorry, she's dressed like a
But all my
hobo.
kids were raised on Tommy Boy. I mean,
You
they.
have to.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's class. I'm of the generation where a lot of the National Lampoon's movies were great. I was cruising through the other night and I saw that Caddyshack was on, so I hit record, make sure that's on there. Stripes, make sure that's on there. Any of the Christmas Vacation, all that stuff.
One of the other podcasts that I produce, Scott Burleson he does reviews of movies and TV shows or whatever, and a variety of other things. And this most recent episode, he did Blazing Saddles, and I'm like, finally a movie that I can enjoy. So I knew exactly all of the bits that I was going to put into the segments.
Nothing
and everything
that you could talk about.
I feel like I could, like Tommy Boy, like Blazing Saddles is also a movie that I could, from start to finish, probably say all the lines.
I don't think I could recite the lines, but not.
Yeah.
I've watched Blazing Saddles a bunch, and the fact that my son-in-law is from Kansas City,
Yeah.
when that line comes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Can't.
wow, we are going down a road, Coach. Sorry, man.
Movies you can't make these days. It's been
right?
covered. Yeah.
So I suppose these days, like TV, you're watching like a lot of Bluey, and like
My kids have graduated from that a little bit. We're into the real life Disney shows.
Okay.
Now. The real
Oh,
people.
yeah, yeah.
We've graduated from cartoons a little bit.
Do you find yourself trying to? I mean, coming from high school football, but it's the same thing. I mean, like a university. Like you see, these kids are younger than all of us, and
Yeah.
How do you do you find yourself trying to come up with relevant pop culture things to say, or do you just what, it's never going to work out. I'm just going to be me.
No, I'm like that old guy that sits on the porch shaking his fist. You guys
Get
are
off
idiots.
my
What are
lawn.
you talking about here?
Right. Yeah.
well, like
Newest YouTuber, they're out quoting.
yeah, we'll start talking to a kid like, "What's your favorite really old movie?" They'll be like, "Ooh, probably Avatar." I'm like, oh, okay, that came
Old
out.
movie.
Old movie.
Yeah.
Old movie. Yeah.
Like, oh, really? I was thinking like maybe
We quit asking that question.
Yeah, because it's really disappointing because you start like, you ever seen this movie? You ever seen this TV show? And they're like, no, I don't know what you're
Start
talking
aging
about.
yourself real quick.
Yeah.
You start
real
talking
quick.
about Young Guns or something like that, one of those Western classics.
Yeah.
The Battle of Sierra Madre.
Regulators.
Mount up. You bet. All right. So
My dad was a Gunsmoke guy. That's
That's way back. Yeah.
So one of the things we kind of stepped off that trail. We were going down the trail about the rest of your family. Obviously,
Yes.
Angel
Yes.
was from the homestead. You were 11 years ago, Holly, or sweethearts, married for 11 years, together for Probably 15 to 20.
Somewhere in there.
Let's leave it at that.
That's a good range.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. Tell me about your folks.
Yeah. So, again, live in Orange City. So originally my family's from Sibley, Iowa. So probably just 35 minutes.
Sibley
north.
O'Scheiden.
Yeah. Sibley O'Cheeden.
O'Cheeden?
It's
Is that how they say
O'Cheeden.
it?
It's O'Cheeden.
Oh, I thought.
Where did you get
I had
that?
to correct you.
I have said it that way.
O'Scheiden.
There's
I heard that
it's
one.
not a big enough town for them to come around and correct me.
Haven't you ever watched like
It's like
Iowa high
calling
school
Fertile
athletics?
Fertile.
Oh yes,
Fertile.
Sibley O'Cheeden. That's wrestling, women's or girls basketball, boys basketball.
I can't say every word right, as we well know.
This is correct.
Jorge.
Jorge Rivera, Mike Mountain. Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Como se llama?
So, okay, your folks,
Yeah.
Orange
so,
City.
Originally, Sibley moved to Orange City. My father was a banker. He's retired now.
Good for him.
My mom works for a candy company based in Los Angeles.
Holy smokes.
So, yeah.
What kind of a company based in Los Angeles?
Candy company.
Candy company based in Los
What are
Angeles.
they? Do they make
It's in the
anything?
Candy Hall of Fame.
What is
Your
the
mother's
candy?
in,
That's a thing.
your mother's in the Candy Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
What's the candy?
For what?
Being a candy salesman.
Yeah.
I guess.
Really?
I don't know.
Okay, I didn't know if there was like.
She's in the Hall of Fame. It really wasn't that big of a deal for us.
I had to wear a suit. We flew to Orlando. It was a
Wow.
big
Well,
thing,
that's
I know.
awesome. Well, congratulations. What are your folks' names?
John and Shelley.
John and Shelley. Are they going to be getting over here to Forest City to see the grandkids?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, go to games.
Go to games.
Let's be honest. That's the whole
babysit.
reason they
They're gonna
come.
babysit.
That's
Yeah,
great.
for sure.
Well, we'll get them hooked up with Waldorf gear and get them
Absolutely.
going on the tailgate. You know, maybe they can bring some food.
I'm sure they will.
some candy.
We're all for it.
All right.
Candy.
And then Angels folks, they still around the Orange City area?
Yep. So they live in a town named Alton. It's
Alton Aurelia?
literally, that's Alta.
Alta.
That's close.
Alta Aurelia.
That's close to.
Wasn't even going to try.
Drop
Wasn't
the
even gonna
ball.
try.
Yeah.
I dropped
Fumbled,
the
he
ball.
fumbled.
Yeah.
I
Well,
did.
But
see, it works
Yep.
for everybody.
father-in-law is a teacher, a longtime teacher, librarian at an elementary school, and my mother-in-law works at a church. So we got all the bases covered. Candy
You
to
guys
church.
got it all. Candy to religion.
Yeah. We cover the bases.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So are you an only child or do you have siblings?
Nope. I have an older brother.
Oh,
Joe. Yeah.
Joe?
Joe.
I'm sorry. Do you get like does your father-in-law like is his Christmas gift always a book? Then
Yes.
he just was like, hey, here's a little thing that I thought
Here's a book.
I was reading at work, and he's like, listen, I don't know what his name is. What's his name?
Murray.
Listen, Murray.
That's
a
I
solid name.
appreciate the
For a
sentiment, but
librarian,
you know, I mean, this book is meant for third graders.
We get those a lot.
So, yeah, I
Just go
suppose
in they go in the drawer. They're there. You know,
Yeah.
pull them out when he comes over.
You're
So
going to
is
love
your-
the characters.
You're
though.
is
gonna
your
love it.
father-in-law an avid reader? Or is he just like, I'm so sick of books. I've been doing this for 35 years.
That's a great question. You know, I've never actually thought to ask him that.
Does he always have one
Most
with
of
him?
the
and
time
sit-
when I see him reading, he's not like the book isn't facing him; it's facing other people. So I guess I
Oh,
don't really
yeah,
know
I
if he
suppose.
enjoys reading.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. So your brother Joe,
Yeah.
where's he at?
He is back in Orange City now. He was in Chicago for a number of years, but he opened up it's kind of like a Dollar General, but a hometown
Yeah,
brand.
Oh,
so,
dollar store.
a
yeah.
local store.
yeah, kind of like a Ben Franklin. I don't know if
Okay.
those were around.
Oh,
this
yeah.
Oh
area.
yes,
Yeah.
Those were
yeah.
big.
Dime
back in
store,
Northwest
yeah.
Iowa,
Yep.
So
You bet. You can't go wrong. Yeah, and hopefully that he's very successful because I think nowadays people want that. That
Absolutely.
They want to go to the guy that lives down the street that opens the shop and it's not just some mega
Absolutely.
chain.
Find a local. I'm going to say the word wrong, but niche.
Yeah, that's the
You
right
nailed
way.
it.
Well, I don't know why you're looking at me. I've
Neat.
clearly
Well,
demonstrated
you said
I don't
you were
know
the
how to
guy.
say words.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Yeah.
I wanted to fit in. I
Troy is
don't
a
know how to say
walking-
words.
It's niche because of it's just like O'Cheeden. The CH no,
O'Scheiden.
I think it's niche. Yeah, you're right. See, that's where I was going with. I thought they had like that little niche influence.
Yeah, maybe.
Do we need to bring in Alice Llewellyn just to get some vocabulary?
The old English, not old, just a former
No.
English teacher. yeah.
Yeah, former English teacher. We need to do something like that. So, Joe, do you have any? Does Joe married all that good stuff, or is he still
Yep.
smart?
So,
No.
Married,
Cool.
has a couple kids. So
Nice.
just
Good
had
for
a
him.
had a son about a year and a half ago. So
Nice.
things are going well. Little entrepreneur back home.
All right.
So is Clarey Irish? Is that an Irish name?
Apparently,
Oh, yeah?
I was always told that we hailed from England,
Yeah.
but my aunt recently did all this digging and stuff
Yeah.
and figured out that we're from Ireland, which
so
makes
you-
sense. So
Yeah.
Well, you're part of
Hear
the
it.
empire.
part of the empire.
Yeah.
I think that the Irish would disagree with that.
Yes, they would. Oh, I'm not part of the.
Technicality.
You don't call me part of the empire. We're an independent nation, don't you know?
No, that's great. Yeah, well, that's funny. Yeah.
It's not clan Clarey.
Well,
All right.
Mick Clarey's there, but that sounds like Scottish, but there's a lot of McClarys actually in Ireland and Clarey's as well. So I was looking at it. We were also having some Irish roots, and I just happened to notice that the name Clarey came up, and I was like, oh, I wonder if Tom dressed all in green on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, do you?
I try not to.
Well, you get pinched if you don't.
Yeah.
You know who dresses all in green and really wears it well?
Kim Mulkey.
Yeah, I'll darn it. Oh.
Hey,
Bad.
now,
Text I was on, I sent the evil leprechaun picture.
now, come on. I want to be honest
I'm
here.
with that.
If I'm going to be honest here, I'm a big fan of Kim Mulkey and LSU basketball. I'm a huge fan of Angel Reese. I think that I was obviously happy that the Hawkeyes beat them in the Elite Eight, but I don't know. Kim Mulkey's a great coach.
Oh, obviously.
She's a very good coach. She coaches with intensity. I think she coaches big, loves big. I was horribly disappointed during that game that she didn't wear something
boa.
extremely loud. She came out just pretty reserved in green.
I mean, as reserved as
Kim
Baton
Mulkey
Rouge
can
can be, yeah.
Yeah.
She's come out in full glitter uniform.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, with
Yeah,
a
I
pink
was
bow on it.
expecting it,
Love that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I might be the one Iowan that doesn't dislike
No, I-
Kim Mulkey. I love
I
her.
don't
Good
dislike,
job, Kim.
I don't dislike her. I mean, I
don't know her.
I'm not a fan. I'm not, but
I'm
I
a
don't
fan.
dislike her, and and I don't dislike Angel Reese either. Actually, when she came out of that game, it was like over because she's
Yeah,
just
that was
big.
disappointing.
She's a huge impact player.
Yeah.
And so you're right about the coaching part of it, and yeah, so that was fun to play. But yeah, I mean,
What'd they say? 12 million? Over 12 million people?
12.5 million people watched that game. That's great. That's good for women's athletics. I just think you can't say enough great things about what players like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark have done, as well as kids like Haley Van Lith and Juju out in at Southern Cal. And I mean, my gosh, there's just so many. I think you will see women's athletics take a stronger role than men's.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
It just
I'm
sucks.
still not going to watch the WNBA, and it's nothing against
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm down.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Smell what you're cooking.
It's awesome, but I mean, unless they're dunking it, I mean, I'm just the entertainment factor at that level is a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's awesome when they're in college because you just see the amazing amount of work, and then when you get, I mean, Caitlin Clark is like all time.
Well, when
everything
when this episode drops, the nation will know who won the national championship.
Yeah.
And obviously we hope it's the Hawkeyes. I think that you're crazy if you think that the Gamecocks aren't going to take it.
Yeah, South Carolina is going to be really, yeah. So we're talking old news by this point. And
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's like, catch up, dude.
Catch up, yeah. Look,
seriously.
look, don't get your news from this
Right?
podcast.
I thought you guys said you had a time machine.
No,
a
we
legend.
don't.
A legend.
Northwestern does. But
Legend.
yeah.
There's no proof.
So yeah, that goes.
We have a little side bet though, like a little thing between Chapa and the head coach. Now, would you say his name was out of Northwestern?
Matt McCarty.
Matt McCarty. It'd be like when they, because like, hey, coach, a little friendly side bet here. If we win this, or if you guys win this, you can have Winnebago. But if we win this, we get your time machine.
Yeah.
And he's gonna be like, ooh, you know about that?
I don't
Got his
know what
number. I
you're.
might have to reach out to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll ask.
Like, I don't know where we can get the Winnebago from because we don't have that. That's not like a level sponsorship.
Yeah, we
yet.
can't get that.
We're gonna have to steal one.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of Winnebagos around.
That's
you
true.
know that are
So-
older.
So growing up in the Orange City area, you were probably a big Northwestern College fan. Or
Yeah.
was that some? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there any
I mean,
other schools?
I was a big Iowa State guy. Still am. So
Great.
when we're, my family was fortunate enough to go to a lot of Iowa State games, season ticket holders for a long time. So
Awesome.
when we weren't there, we'd go to Northwestern games right down the street. Similar situation. Just
And you were probably I guess not knowing the history of Northwestern football, but I mean, like most programs, they go through peaks and valleys, and were they very, very good like they are now when you were growing up and watching them?
Yeah. So when I was growing up, I would say that they again, I'm not a big history guy, but I would say they were pretty good. They were very competitive.
Yeah.
And then when I went to college is when we were kind of starting that climb of being perennial playoff contenders in there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was me because once I left, then they started being awesome.
Boom.
Oh, then they really exploded
So
after.
maybe it was me. I was holding them back. I
don't know.
But
I don't know. You'd have to talk to Coach McCarty.
Probably give me some honest feedback
that you may not want to hear.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and we were talking. I think it was. I don't know if it was Coach Brummer or Coach Chapa, that like the last 6 NAIA national championship games featured either Morningside or Northwestern.
Mm.
That's insane. That one conference. It's been dominated by 2 teams, and
and throw Grandview in there too. I mean,
throw Grandview in Iowa, over at the Hart, and then I mean, of course, you got Dort. Dort is up and coming.
Okay.
I remember when Dort was, 20 some years ago, when Dort was just almost a doormat. Everybody would beat him up, but they were doing the right things, and that's the way programs go.
Well, I think it's that the GPAC is, if you're going to have representation in the playoffs and the championship and the NAIA, it just indicates too that the rest of that conference is no joke, because they don't get to be that good to beat teams from other conferences without having some pretty good competition to get there in the first place. Obviously, recruiting and talent and all that stuff matters. Coaching is very important, but at the end of the day, how do you do on the gridiron? That's what matters. And so I'm excited for us to be part of the GPAC. We've talked about it now for the last, year, and it's something that we're looking forward to. It's going to be a challenge, but it's something that we're definitely up to.
Absolutely. I mean, it's coach speak, but to be the best, you got to beat the best. So, I mean, position ourselves in the GPAC, that allows us to go out and do that on a weekly basis, or at least attempt to. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
Well, that's what's going to be so great about this upcoming season. We're pretty solid as far as our coaching staff and just the culture, everything moving forward the right direction. This is where we get to throw it up against a wall and see what sticks. Obviously we anticipate success. You don't go into a football game like, all right, gentlemen, they're going to crush us. No, we're going to go in and expect to win every game. They have to come beat us. Yep. We're not going to give up for them. But the reality is that's what's going to be so exciting about this season. See where we stand, and I think that we're going to be in that. Well, it'd be great to be on the top of the conference. I mean, I think that we're going to be competitive in the conference. I think that I believe that we're going to turn some heads in the conference. Absolutely. Like, oh, this isn't just a old NSAA program that's looking for a home. No, we belong in the GPAC 100%. So. Looking forward to the season for sure.
So now you have mentioned that it is this comes out on the 12th of April, and so that means that tomorrow is the spring ball game. And so pretty excited about that. We want to let all of our fans and listeners know that they need to come out and check out what the Warriors are doing. There's no admission for the spring ball.
Absolutely not. But one of the things we've talked about from the gridiron perspective, it'd be great if you call your friends, and about somewhere between 9 and 10, bring your grill and your TV or whatever you need to do, and come on out and just get to know your neighbors and your friends. Have fun. Let's stretch our tailgating legs a little bit.
Yes.
And then at 1 o'clock, I believe, is the kick for the spring game. Now, we're not going to see a hearty battle. It's going to look a lot more like a scrimmage, but it's really that culmination of all the work that the coaches have done.
For sure. I mean, we want as many people out there as we can, just to show support, but also breathe some life into these kids that are working their butt off every day.
Yeah.
You got to test out the new electricity over in the tailgate area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably. So, there's a lot of fun stuff going on.
Well,
but like you said, it'll be less of a game and more of, everyone showing what they've learned, what they can look forward to. Hopefully.
Well, I'm no athlete by any stretch of the imagination, but I know well enough that you don't just get up and go out and run a marathon. You got to walk, then you got to jog, and then you got to run and run and run and then go run a marathon. So why wouldn't you come out in April and do some tailgating?
Get some training,
that way,
tailgate training.
That way you don't pull a hammy
Yeah.
at the end of August.
Make sure the Blackstone's ready to go.
Oh, yes.
Prep.
Right.
Yeah, see, you're ready to go, Coach. You're ready.
Sounds good. Now, I don't want to miss the opportunity to also talk about next weekend because that's important.
Oh, yes.
Andy, we're going to I don't know, I won't be, but the football team is for rent.
Yes, they are. It's going to be your opportunity. So tell everybody around the Four City area, if you need a little bit of yard work done, you need some cleanup, it's that spring cleanup time. Last year, unfortunately, with all the changes in the program, they weren't able to offer it. But this year, folks,
For real.
they're in. So
You've got sticks to clean up, yards to rake. You've got anything outside the house. It's all exterior stuff there. We're not, sending the kids into the house and stuff like that. If you've got maybe some things to move out of your garage, but that's fine. I don't want to obligate them to too much stuff. But if you've got some tasks that say, hey, what would really be helpful if I had like 4 guys, then you can hire them to come out. All of those funds go to the Waldorf Gridiron Club. And so we are the prime source for funneling the funds for the football team directly to the football team. And so we want to make sure that you get that information. Look, Andy, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've got some tree branches down out here, and I could take some help out here. So, but you've got 80 plus guys that are available for rent. Your job might only take an hour or two. That leaves them the whole day. They're going to be working the whole day. We're going to feed them afterward, which is going to be great. Great way to get together and socialize with them, and just thank them for all of their work. And so, if you want to get that information, if you want to rent some warriors to do some of those tasks, it will be one day and one day only, and that's the 20th of this month. So a week from tomorrow, as this show comes out, you'll need to email us and let us know, and you can do that a couple of ways.
I believe Coach Chapa has said that they can email him directly to set that up. And if you want to email Coach Chapa, his email address is Tyler, Tyler, .chapa, CHAPA, at waldorf.edu. So Tyler Chapa at waldorf.edu. You can send him an email and say, hey, I'd like my yard cleaned up. Obviously, we're accepting those free will donations. We don't have
there's not a rate.
Nope, it's not.
Don't be skimpy on it.
Right, but again, those kids are getting up on a Saturday. They're going out there. They're going to work their tails off to try to get your yard just a little bit better. They're going to stay until it's done or until they don't have any room left in their trailer or whatever. But yeah, they're going to keep working and they're going to work hard. So yeah,
they've got a good attitude. I had 13 of them come out and help me, and I paid them because it was hard work. We poured about 100 feet of driveway.
And you said they did a fantastic job.
They did a pretty darn good job for never having poured concrete before, and it's great. My in-laws love it, and so folks, this is just great labor there, and it's helping the program. It's probably helping you get your yards cleaned up or whatever it happens to be. Just a great way to interact with the community, and then maybe become a fan if you're not already, of these guys that you get to see on the football field this fall.
Absolutely. Come out and support these young men. So,
yeah, Coach, it's the end of your first episode with the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast. And Andy, he always likes to give the guest the last word. I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No, you're not stealing anything. So yeah, just because generally what we like to do is say you're going to get the last word, and then we like to just kind of look at each other and continue talking. That way you can think of what in the name of all Jehoshaphat you're actually
like to put you right on the spot. And the last word goes to you.
Exactly.
And then
and what's your favorite Bible verse? Go.
So many to choose from.
There is a lot to choose from, but you can. The parting shot is if you want to talk to fans, whatever you want to talk to. There's literally a dozen people listening right now, and most of them it's your family.
Dozens,
A whole dozen.
scores,
4 score.
You put the pressure on.
Yeah.
No, I'll keep it short and sweet. I mean, just we're trending in the right direction for sure at Waldorf football. Lot to look forward to. A lot of excitement for next fall. So. Any support we can get, we're going to take. Get out in the community. Hopefully you can contact Coach Chapa and get us some work next by the time this
Yep,
airs
next
Saturday.
Next
So
Saturday.
got to get my future time machine brain going. Bringing it back. But yeah,
Knew it.
just love the support, love the atmosphere on Saturdays. So let's continue to keep building and trend in the right direction. Go Warriors.
All right, you heard it here, folks. They have a time machine in Orange City.
Somewhere. There
I
it
mean,
is.
he did confirm it.
It's hidden. It's hidden.
I am. This is not even a conspiracy theory
It's
anymore.
never the last word.
is
We
not a
can never the
conspiracy
last
theory.
word. We could. I was thinking we should be doing like for our social media channels. We should be doing little on the side coverage of the game on tomorrow, and just be grabbing players occasionally and talking to them.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be
I think
kind of
the
fun.
kids would love it.
They would like it,
a lot
wouldn't
of
it?
fun.
Love it.
All right,
would be
I'll
a
have
lot
to
of
get
fun.
that set up, and we'll
Set it
we'll
up.
do something fun like that. It'll be fun to see on our Twitter, X now.
Sure.
Yep,
You're
and
not
then
betting
our
on tweeting
Facebook
anymore.
account as well. Mm-hmm.
Well, folks, thanks for taking a little bit of time out of your day to listen to this episode of the Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast. 3.4, I believe, is where we're at right now. Want to give special thanks to linebackers coach, newest coach on staff, Tom Clarey, for taking some time, coming on out to the bunker, and just dropping knowledge and having a great time just getting to know Coach. I hope you folks have
You
enjoyed
really opened up there after we got talking about movies.
True. And well, the
Found it. You found
and
it.
then, well, we loosened
Sweet
him up
spot.
enough to where he actually admitted the time machine exists.
That's
Yeah,
always that was the plan from the beginning.
So
Yeah.
don't trust him is what I'm trying to say, because he's a spy. He's a spy. He's here on a mission. Yeah. All right. Just kidding. He's ours now, guys. Sorry.
That's right.
Sorry, Red Raiders. So anyway, this is, I want to thanks everybody again. For Troy Thompson, this is Andy Buffington, and forever and always,
Go Warriors.
You can join the Waldorf Gridiron Club and be part of the best small college football experience in America.
Just visit our website and pick your membership level. Find us and everything Waldorf Gridiron Club related, including professional photos, at waldorfgridironclub.org.
You can also click on the Support the Show link in the show notes to donate.
And you can even use the United States Postal Service by sending your check to the Waldorf Gridiron Club, P.O. Box 125, Forest City, Iowa, 50436.
It's tax exempt, hassle free, and has a level for every budget.
That's right, anyone can join, even our rivals.
Show your colors. Join the Gridiron Club today.
Get it?
Got it. Fantastic.
The Waldorf Gridiron Club podcast is hosted by Andy Buffington and me, Troy Thompson. Produced by Sunnyside Farm Studios in beautiful rural Forest City, Iowa. Platformed by Buzzsprout and music by Soundstrike. The Waldorf Gridiron Club is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to the student athletes of the Waldorf University football program. Our mission is to assist the program in maintaining the best small college football experience in America.